Welcome to the Kingsmen Podcast, where diverse Christians share their faith in Jesus Christ. Formed 20 years ago, we aim to bring Jesus Christ glory and honor and give a modern-day Christian perspective. Well, let me give you a formal introduction. Trent Taylor, man, mighty valiant man of God that I've known for many years, probably over 20 years.
Definitely more than 20, yeah.
Knew you from church, but man, you got 5 kids. Man, husband, great man of God, involved in the kingdom, but an entrepreneur by trade, formally, but really passionately most about building the kingdom of Jesus.
That's it, yeah.
So, man, want to hear some of your testimony, man, today.
Well, I appreciate it. There's, it's kind of interesting. I love the testimony is what I think, edifies the body and encourages other people. And sometimes it's really important to hear that, other people were really screwed up. And just so you know, everybody's broken. But I came, in fact, we were talking a little bit before the podcast. When I was in high school, the environment, the church, we went to church as a kid. I went to church as a kid, but it was a denomination that I fundamentally disagree with now. And I didn't know anything about Jesus. Never heard the gospel message, never heard what salvation was, none of those things. So when my family fell apart, and it's just me and my dad, I was a handful, and I was constantly in trouble. I already had a proclivity towards it, but that kind of just set it up a few notches. I had an aunt, and what's interesting, and I'm going to get to this here in a minute, Sean, but I was telling him, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse on the story, but I got saved in your church. And I'll get to that more in a minute, but my aunt was just a mighty woman of God. She was dealing with cancer. So my mom was out of the picture at the time. And I didn't really have a lot of trust in women, but yet God used women to really pursue me and draw me to Christ. It's interesting how God does that. Well, I had an aunt. She was sick. She had breast cancer. She'd beat it, but it had come back. And she's from Oklahoma, had half Oklahoma praying for me, and so she would, what do you do for a teenage kid, man? Feed them, right? So she'd invite me over to her house and say, and they'd just feed me, just anytime she could get me to the house. So then she wanted me to go to church, invited me to church. Now, I'll go ahead and say this. So the church I grew up in is a lot different than the Assembly of God church. All right, so I walk in, man, these people are standing up, hands in the air. I'd never heard anybody pray in tongues before. The guy that was a worship leader at the time, he played the saxophone. I was like, this place is crazy, it was off the hook. And so I didn't really know what to think.
They have rattlesnakes or anything like that?
They weren't drinking poison that day. No,
okay.
So no poison. No, but it was refreshing. I'd never experienced. I thought that, church and God was boring. I thought that, you couldn't, I didn't understand that it was about a relationship. And that was the first time I really saw people excited about God. And so she kept inviting me back. After a while, I don't know if do y'all still do Sunday night church?
Every once in a while, not as much.
Well, so they had it every week back then.
Yeah,
anyway, she said she started inviting me. She said, I want you to go with me on Sunday nights. And I thought, the thought I had was like, nobody's bad enough. You got to go to church twice in one day. But out of respect for her and everything that she had been pouring into me, I was like, okay, I'll do it.
And you're how old at this time?
So I'm 17.
Okay.
So I'm 17 at this time. And I'm about to graduate. So it was actually May 22nd, 1994. And interestingly, too, so the pastor, man, he just had my number, really. He was reading my mail. So every Sunday, I'd show up, and when he's preaching, it's a message that, resonated with my heart. He's calling me out, but he's also explaining and helping me understand that Jesus wants a personal relationship with me. And
amen.
I didn't feel like I deserved it, and none of us do. That's the thing. We don't deserve it.
Yeah.
But it's one night I remember showing up, and Jesus was knocking at the door. Just and I could not wait. In fact, I kept waiting. I was like, he kept going. They're a little long-winded Sunday night. I just was wanting him to shut up.
So you go to the altar.
So I could go to the altar.
Yeah.
And man, and that's one thing I love about, I don't know if y'all still do this, but the Assembly of God, what they showed me is, and I'm an evangelist, I've got to lead, hundreds of people to Christ. But one thing that they do very, very well is evangelize and give people opportunity every Sunday. And that's what every church should be doing. I totally agree. But I did, man. I ran as May 22nd, 1994 on a Sunday night. I gave my life to Christ.
Awesome.
And I was still a bonehead for a while after that. But I knew that I was fundamentally changed. I knew, God was beginning to work things out in me. So that's my testimony, so to speak, in regards to how I came to Christ.
If you enjoyed that video, click here for more videos like it, and click here to subscribe for future videos.